Hello?
Hi, is that Charlie?
Yeah, yep.
Hey man, this is Levi calling from Sticks for Stones in Brisbane, Australia. How you doing, man?
Hey man, how are you? I saw you were calling, but the last interview kind of screwed up the time, so I was still talking.
Yeah, that's all right. That happens all the time, so I just keep calling. Are you free to do an interview now?
Yeah.
Cool as, man. I was lucky enough to get sent a pre-order copy of your new album, For All Kings, and it really is one of the best Anthrax albums I've heard. Yeah, it's really cool. It's progressive. It goes on perfectly from the last album. How did the whole recording experience go, and how do you keep burning the flame after all these years?
It's like you get better with age, I think. I think the whole thing with me nowadays is like I try and push it as much as I possibly could just to be better, to make the band better, you know. I hear a lot of records that have come out, and I don't really hear much excitement in them anymore, you know.
Yeah, for sure. With the album, was there like a theme in mind? Because I know it's, it's got the Kings on it, and seems some of the lyrics seem quite political, and all the songs seem to kind of merge from one to the next. But was there an overall theme when you went in to record the album, or did you just jam and this is how it turned out?
As far as the songs go, I think they all started to intertwine. And I think the cover concept that was always in my mind to do with Kings, I wanted something very, very heavy, and what a modern day king would mean to us and maybe the listener. So it wasn't necessarily about kings in the, specific kings in the past or anything like that. I just wanted it to be something that everyone could relate to, whether it's a king as your dad or a king like your favorite sports player of all time, someone you look up to and who is a great role model too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking about kings and someone who definitely earns the title king, it's Lemmy Kilmister, and we've been doing a lot of interviews lately, just sharing the first time you ever met Lemmy. I was just wondering, what's your experience? One of your best memories from meeting that dude?
Well, being a huge Motorhead fan, I was like a member of the Motorhead Headbangers, and I remember the first time we played London, we played a place called the Hammersmith Palais, and Lemmy was there, and I got to meet him that night. It was one of those moments that I couldn't believe he was like there in the flesh, you know what I mean? Because I've always just seen pictures of Lemmy, or I saw Lemmy on stage in front of me, but just to have Lemmy standing in front of me talking to me, and then he offered me some speed, and I was just like, wow, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah. Did you take him up on the offer?
No, because I was like 20-something at the time, and I had enough adrenaline in me. I didn't need any foreign substance.
Yeah, fair call. I've actually had the pleasure of seeing Anthrax play live, and the first time I saw you guys was with John Bush, and then I saw you again recently with Joey Belladonna, and both live shows were great, but it really did feel like a totally different band. But how does it feel now playing again with Joey compared to John Bush? Is it different to write with those guys?
I don't want to say one's better than the other, because I'll catch shit from people who will definitely, feel like they are, entitled to their opinion. But for the most part, this is my opinion, okay? With Joey, it just is classic Anthrax, and it just sounds like Anthrax again. And for some reason, it makes me feel better about the band.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. But those are pretty good days as well with John Bush. There was some great albums, and it was a good show as well. But yeah, I love both renditions of the band, so I don't think I really go as far as saying I have a preference, but they're both great.
Yeah, I mean, we made good records. The only problem is the timing when those records were coming out was all wrong for us. You know, the Sound of White Noise record was a huge success, you know, globally. Mm-hmm. And then after that, the climate changed.
You know, when you did worship music a few years ago, it was a really great album, but was there any fear that, you know, when you went back to working with Joey, that maybe the spark wouldn't be there anymore?
Well, we didn't, I mean, that's the thing. We didn't do it that way. We didn't say, let's go right around, you know. We basically did shows and regrouped and kind of repaired relationships. That's what we did before we even talked about any new music. You know, worship music was musically, it was written and everything. Mm-hmm. And then when Joey decided, yeah, let's do it, well, then the structure changed and the overall excitement changed.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it was recently, I'm not sure, were you involved, but Scott did a song with Randy Blythe, and they did some old Stormtroopers of Death songs. So is there any chance that band will ever re-emerge again and do another album or tour?
They asked us to do it one night, and I said, yeah, we'll do it, no problem. But there's no plans for anything.
Yeah, I guess you'd be too busy with Anthrax as well.
Say it again?
I guess you'd be way too busy doing Anthrax stuff to have a second band on the side.
Right.
So is there any plans to come down to Australia in the next year or two?
I'm sorry. It's for some reason your voice is very low.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I was just asking, is there any plans to do another tour of Australia in the next year or two?
As of today, there's no plans, but I think the excitement is building in Australia, and we would love to come down there and play again. So I don't think it's a question of if we are; it's just when we are.
You guys started out, really back in the early days, and one of the forefathers of what we call thrash metal now, and just wondering, what were those very early days like in New York, and how was the scene in New York compared to the Bay Area scene in San Francisco?
I think the scenes were a little similar, of course, but I think in New York, I think you had more of a hardcore punk crossover thing going. I think in Bay Area, I think it was really strictly real metal type of thing, And I think once it all coalesced, it just kind of branched out, and you had so many different diversities, just different forms of music that were coming out of it, which was really cool.
Yeah, and when you first, were doing those early shows with Metallica and Megadeth and I guess Slayer too, did you think that, 5 years from now, you're both going to be, all those bands are going to be, globally recognized and, massive on, every country on earth?
I think from 1986, the 4 records that were released in 1986 basically was so strong that that was it. I think all those bands were just made a career for themselves after those records,
Yeah, and out of all those bands, I mean, you guys and Megadeth, you all sold a lot of albums, and you still pull massive crowds. But Metallica exploded to that sort of Led Zeppelin level. And do you ever wonder if that happened to Anthrax? Do you think, that sort of level of success would, take out, the hunger and the fire inside to want to keep putting out great albums every 2 years?
I think, look, I wouldn't say that you're far off the mark with that, but I think once you achieve this fucking success, that is just a phenomenon. I don't know if the hunger still stays. It's I don't know. All I can speak for myself, and like the hunger that's inside is still very strong.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, I'll just wrap up the interview quickly. I'll ask you one more question. And just, what are the plans for this year tour-wise? What countries can people expect to see you in? And, I guess what's your highlights for the year?
I think we're going to be all over the place, to be honest with you. After this run here in the U.S., we go to South America with Iron Maiden, which could be... It's going to be probably some great shows, and we get to fly on an airplane with them. So.
Oh, cool! And it'll be Bruce piloting.
Yeah, maybe I could take over a little bit.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of you, man. Yeah, man, it's going to be cool. And if you guys do come down in the next year or two, I'd love to see you guys play again. It's always a good time, and I'll be up the front taking photos, so I'll be able to send those through as well. Yeah, man, I hope you have
awesome.
I hope this record goes good for you. I think it's one of your best yet, and good luck with all your tours.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Bye.
Cheers, bye.